take a seat,
grab a mic,
let your truth shine in the light. This a place where hearts can mend.
Everybody family in the den. Welcome to the den where the love don't end,
where the conversations turn strangers into friends.
Oh yeah. And every single story finds a place to begin.
With CJ and Sherry's leading the way tonight, talking truth, bringing hope and light.
When the world feels heavy and the road gets long,
you know the den keeps you strong.
Sometimes we laugh,
sometimes we cry,
sometimes we question why.
But together we rise,
together we shine.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah, oh.
Ain't no better place to unwind
than a den tonight.
Yeah. Welcome to the den where the love don't end,
where the conversations turn strangers into friends.
Everybody got a story to defend,
and it's CJ and Sherry's bringing the vibe tonight,
keeping hearts and minds in flight. If you're looking for a place where the love runs deep,
the deep and where we meet,
the deep is where we meet.
Yeah. The deep is where we meet.
Yeah. The den feels like ooh, yeah. Welcome to the den, welcome to the den. Yeah. Welcome to the den. Welcome to the den. Every Wednesday, when the clock hits 7, feels like earth opens up a little piece of heaven. Real talk flowing like a river so free. Ain't just a show, it's a whole family tree.
From the laughter in the kitchen to the stories that inspire, every heart in the den got a spark of fire. And when the cameras roll and the lights all glow, you already know where the good vibes go.
If you ever felt alone in the night,
the den gon' make everything alright.
If you ever needed somewhere to belong, come on in and sing along. Sherry's got the love on display. Every single Wednesday we lead the way. From the couch to the mic, from the laugh to the truth. The den bring the light, the den bring the proof.
Yeah. Welcome to the den
tonight. Oh yeah.
Where the love keeps flowing,
where the hearts keep The den feels like ooh.
Pull up a chair, kick back. This more than a live stream, this a heartbeat. Every story matter, every voice welcome.
That's the den way, that's the CJ and Sherry sway.
From the mass split mode to the last goodbye,
every single moment got a reason why. When the world feels heavy and the nights feel long, just come to the den and sing this.
Welcome to the den where the love don't end,
where the conversations turn strangers into friends. Ooh, yeah. And every single voice got a place to begin. With CJ and Sherry bringing the vibe tonight, talking truth, keeping everything bright. When the world outside feels cold again,
the den brings the warmth back in. I'll run sake again.
Welcome to the den. The den brings a den.
Yeah, camera on, yeah, the lights go live. From the couch where the real ones vibe.
Every story got a place right here where the love feel loud and the talk feel clear. Built this thing from a dream and faith. Now the whole day eating off one plate. From the lab to the real check-ins. When you pull up, you family in. We don't just talk, we connect souls. Every Wednesday, yeah, you know the goal. If your heart heavy, come inside. We got a seat, come take this ride. Welcome to the den, where the love don't end. CJ and Sharice, yeah, we locked in. From the couch to the screen, yeah, we shining again. Hit subscribe, tell a friend, bring them all to the den. Welcome to the den, we just keeping it real. Every laugh, every tear, yeah, you know what it is. If you looking for a home, you ain't gotta pretend. Pull up, take a seat. Welcome to the den. Yeah, wow. Mukbang plates in the real talk flow. Mental check-ins, yeah, we helping folks grow. From the giveaways to blessing the streets, heavenly blessings, yeah, we walking in peace. Yeah. Build a family bigger than views. Engine Wellers rocking in black and gold hues. If you riding with us, throw your hands up high. This more than a channel, this a whole safe vibe. We don't chase cloud, we build kings and queens. Every episode living out the dream. If your heart heavy, come inside. We got a seat, come take this ride. Welcome to the den, where the love don't end. CJ and Sharice, yeah, we locked in. From the couch to the screen, yeah, we.
I'm gonna need you to learn how to do that.
I don't know. I don't know. I be trying to get it, but I don't know. What's up, everybody? Welcome in.
Hey y'all, hey.
Welcome into season 5 of the Social Den. I don't know what episode this is. I just stopped saying the episodes, you know. But shout out to the 20 million in the building, y'all. We are back with another episode. I'm excited about this one. We've been getting a lot of feedback about this one. People are excited about this one. You know, it's a good one. So we're gonna get right to it. We don't have a guest tonight. Y'all are our guests. So yeah, we're gonna say what's up to all of the den dwellers, and then we're gonna get to it. I see everybody in the chat was digging the music. That was another new one that I put together, and of course the intro song is still the same, but you know the countdown songs will be changing here and there. So glad y'all are enjoying the music and all of that good stuff too. All right, so let's get to the chat. StreamYard in the building. Welcome in, welcome in. They sent me an email this morning thanking me for a payment. So yeah, we got to shout them out.
I thought you wasn't gonna pay him since they ain't work.
I mean, you know, it is what it is. Edward, what's popping?
Hey, brother Edward.
We got Just Asking for a Friend. Welcome
hey,
in.
Just asking.
We got Diva Mom in the building. Welcome
hey,
in.
Diva Mom.
Miss Nisi in the building. Hey, Miss Nisi.
Hi, my beautiful.
We got the amazing Grateful Heart in the building. Welcome
Hi,
in.
my grateful.
We got Valerie Brunson in the building.
Hey, Valerie. Is that who was on that?
Valerie and Just
hey,
Asking.
Hey.
We got my girl Michelle in the building. Welcome in, sis.
Hey, sis Michelle.
Latrice is at work, but she is she's gonna catch the replay.
Love you too, sis.
We got Mr. Richardson in the building. Welcome in.
Hey, bro, Jermaine.
We got Mrs. Richardson in the building.
Stop
Welcome
saying
in.
them people got me. Hey, Karika Boo.
We got Brandy in the building. Welcome in, sis.
Hey, Brandy girl.
We got my girl, my ace, Triple D in the building.
D.
Welcome in. Chill Will crew in the building. Welcome in, Chill Will. Let me see. Who else we got up in here? We got Boss Bitch Toya in the building. What up, sis?
There go my baby, the crybaby thug.
Let me see. The Honorable Joni Meeks in the building. Welcome
Joni Love.
Let me see. Make sure I don't miss nobody now. Oh, we got the Social Den alumni herself. Sipping with Share Magic in the building.
Hey, Kiva girl. Hey, sis.
Let me see. Who else we got up in Kia? We got the dopest family on YouTube, keeping up with the Griffins in the building.
Hi, my Griffin.
Let me see. Make sure we don't miss nobody. Y'all know we don't play about our den dwellers now. J Bone in the building. Welcome in, J Bone.
Hey, J Bone.
We
How
got
you
Unc in the
doing?
building. Welcome in, Unc.
Hey, PBE today.
Right. Let me see. We got our girl Satin in the building. Welcome in, Satin.
Satin Boo. Hi, baby.
Man, we can't complain, J Bone. How you doing today? Glad to see everybody. And that is it for the chat. Shout out to the 26, 27 million and 28 million in the building. We appreciate y'all for being here tonight. I hope everybody was able to thumbs up the live and share out the live. And we want y'all's feedback on this topic tonight. I know we're going to get a lot of great feedback tonight about this topic. So let me put our banner up so people that's coming in know what we are talking about tonight. Okay. So tonight, y'all, we are going to be talking about toxic parenting. Okay. This is a good one. This is one that we starred on our schedule because we knew this was going to be one of those, because it's a common thing and not just in America but in the world, because there are parents all over the world and there are kids all over the world. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so toxic parenting what is toxic parenting really though? I took, we got some notes over here that we're gonna touch on and whatever. But hey Lacasia.
Hey, Lacasia Boo.
So let's break it down what toxic parenting can mean first. All right. So toxic parenting can be where parents don't know how to communicate with their kids.
Mm-hmm.
It could be constant criticism. Instead of uplifting the kids, it's always what they're doing wrong. And that could tear a kid down. That could crush the child's spirit. And then they find themselves always wanting to try to please the parents and make them proud of them for once. So that can become emotionally draining.
Follows them into adulthood, making them want to please other people.
Exactly. So emotional neglect is another one. No affection, no support, that type of thing. It's no affection there. There's no I love you. There's nothing. It's just the child feels like a burden to the parent instead of a child to the parent. You know what I'm saying? The control and manipulation is another one. Like if I think this was a good one because I said so, taken to the extremes. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about why I asked you to do it. Just do it. Or don't worry about why I said you can't go. It's because I said you can't go. You know what I'm saying? It's just like treating a child like a verbal punching bag. You know what I'm saying? So comparing kids to other kids. Why can't you be more like her? Why can't you be more like him? Look, Lacasia said it right when I said it. Yep. Always comparing kiddos to each other. That's not good.
Not good at all.
It makes them feel like, damn, are you, I'm your kid. Like, why do you want me to be like somebody else? You know what I'm saying? So that's another one. Using guilt as a weapon. Just never letting nothing go. Whatever they do is on them forever.
Right.
Bringing it up as weapons when disagreement happens, or stockpiling the issues the child's having, or the run-ins that the child has. You know what I'm saying? And not really tackling it head first. So we want y'all's feedback, but a good question is, at what point does discipline turn into damage? That's a good question. At what point does discipline turn into damage? Now, we all know that discipline comes in different forms. There's verbal discipline and there's physical discipline. Now the physical discipline, that's a whole nother ball game, because once the physical part comes in, then it's like the child is like literally a punching bag. And discipline, spare the rod, spoil the child. Okay, little pop, whipping with a belt or whatever. But once you start using other things, like things that shouldn't be used as discipline tools, and then they start using these too, like really, like it could be bad. And you can only imagine what some kids go through at home. You never know what's going on behind closed doors.
You don't.
And
I don't like when parents call name
calling
and be this and
yeah,
hold this and
like it's like it sounds like not even girlfriends. It sounds like two friends arguing, not a parent and a child.
Right.
So what I want to do, y'all, is I don't want to do tonight, because I know it's going to be a lot of great comments. I don't want to let them stack up too high. So we're going to touch on them as we go. Touch on the great comments in the chat. And y'all know we like to call this portion from the den. So the comments are coming in heavy. So we're gonna start with I was about to call her Dreamy Eyes. Michelle was gonna cuss me out. We're gonna start with Michelle. She said, I know someone who has two kids, and she put the oldest down and praises the youngest. Always compared the two and calling the oldest dumb. Now that's a good point, because when I was just talking about comparing, I was talking about like me comparing my daughter to Tanya down the street. But you're right about the sibling comparisons too. That's a big one, because that happens a lot.
Yeah, it does.
So that's a good point, Michelle.
And sometimes you got it where they compare like cousins. It ain't just the siblings, but you comparing, comparing them against family members.
Yeah. Hold on, y'all. I'm just grabbing some more comments. And we don't want to miss anybody coming in. So if somebody comes in,
Mars, let us know
and shout them out, and then we'll shout them out. Because unfortunately with StreamYard, I can't see the live chat when I'm reading the starred comments. All right, so Michelle. Okay, so Satin said, what about showing anger or hatred towards a child because of the father?
That happens a lot, unfortunately. And I think that is so unfair, especially when you got, and I see it a lot, where the mother and the father don't last, and then because the child happens to look like the father, the child gets treated like crap. And I can't stand you look like your dumbass father, and blah, blah, blah. I think that's so unfortunate, and it happens a lot. Unfortunately for me, I've seen it happen a lot in our community, the Black community, and it's something that I've always hated. I hate that whole baby mama, baby daddy thing. I hate it. I hate it. I wish it was something that didn't happen. But you're right.
Yep.
It's there.
Definitely. What up, Morris?
Hey, Morris, how are you doing?
Yeah, and just to add on to what my wife said, you hear about the instances where the son looks just like the father. So now when the mother looks at the son, she sees the father, if he was a deadbeat or abusive, and she treats the son like the father, like as if he's the father, like mistreating him. I didn't ask to be here. I didn't have nothing to do with what y'all was going through. Why are you taking it out on me? You know what I'm saying? So then that's where, things start going crazy. fights and all of that start going on. You know, police get called. Somebody end up getting hurt. It's crazy, man.
And
It's a
a
scary
lot of times
situation.
that's what, I don't want to say a lot of times, I don't know, but sometimes that's what caused some of these young guys to turn to the streets because they've been treated like crap, because they've been compared to their father or some other guy or whatever the case
Mhm.
may be. And you know, it's a spiral effect.
That's a fact. All right, y'all. Shout out to the 22 million in the building. Let's read some more comments, and then we'll continue on to the next segment. Is it when parents tell children you? I'm sorry, Toya said. Is it when parents tell children you act just like your daddy when a child ain't never met their daddy? Man, listen. How the hell I'm supposed to know how I act? I act like him. I ain't never met him. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. But now I know that you act just like your daddy. That can come in a positive form too. Because Sharice tell my daughter that all the time. But in this case, in this, you know, what we're talking about, this is definitely comes from a negative place. You act just like your daddy. I ain't never met the nigga, so I don't know. You know, I don't know. So that's a good one, Toya. Let me make sure I ain't missing none. Okay, yeah, we got some good ones coming in now, and I'm getting all of them. I'm getting all of them. Yes, Diva Mom definitely goes for girls too. Let me see. Yeah, y'all dropping some heat, y'all. We gonna get to all of them. Let me just keep going. Grateful said, I'm 50 years old, CJ, and still dealing with emotional scares, an iron cord. Oh, trust me, I know all about that. I mean, I've never been beaten with an iron cord, but I had friends that would beat with iron cords, and other things that I don't want to say on here. But yeah, it's that right there. That's not discipline. That's abuse. You know what I'm saying? That's abuse. That's not good, and that's anything that can leave scars and stuff like that. Like, that's not good. You know, then you go on to, and then it's not like they aiming for one part of your body, your ass. You know, it's like being beaten, like an animal. You know, you going to school with whelps all on your arms, and now people in your business, teachers get involved. You know, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Let me see. Satin said a lot of times parents won't put their hands on a child because of school or other adults, but they have no problem with emotionally scarring it. See, now, yeah, and they switched it up because back in the day, they didn't care. Now, you know, they don't play that, so they know, okay, I can't really hit him like I want to, but he gonna feel this. He gonna get this smoke, in one way or another. You know what I'm saying? And it could start as soon as he walk in the door. He probably excited to go home and show his mom that he got an A on the test, or and let me stop saying he or she, and walk in the house. My mother done had a bad day, and or baby father pissed her off, and she take it out on the kid.
And you know, I don't want to make excuses for parents, but that's why I think we need to normalize therapy, because some of these parents are doing the best they can to an extent, but don't really realize that they need help. They need emotional help themselves. Like, they don't really realize that they're going through things, and they don't realize the stress that they're putting on their children. I never want to go into detail of what I've been through out of respect for my mom, but I know for a fact that my mom did the best that she could. But coming up, I didn't know that. But my mom doesn't realize the things that she did, the stress and trauma that she put on me that I even deal with to this day. But had she gone through and really sat down and in her emotion and got to know what she was dealing with and got the help that she needed, things probably would have been different. But at the same time, like, I don't know, if it sucks that I went through the things that I went through, but had I not gone through what I went through, I don't think that I would be the person that I am today.
Right.
So I don't know. I just think, some of these parents, they just are trash ass parents. But some of these parents, I feel bad, and there's a little bit of grace that needs to be given.
That's right, Sid Magic. Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
Satin said, oh, I already read that, sorry. Brandy said, yes, I have made some regretful decisions with my daughters. Hey, at least you can admit it, though. And that's the first step, is admitting it. Second step is fixing it.
Yeah, don't regret it. Yeah. Just learn from it. And, just fix your mistakes. It's never too late, because no matter what you went through, whatever you did is going to shape them for who they are today. Go back and have those conversations and apologize for what you went through. You just don't know what that apology would mean today.
What's going on, Marcus?
Hey, Marcus.
All right, let's keep going. Triple D said, it's crazy if a parent talks to a child like someone off the street. It happens a lot, unfortunately.
It
does. Satin said, mother was never big and showing emotion or even telling us that she loved us. Sometimes you just really need to hear it, even if they show you in other ways. Right. Yeah. Or a hug. Hug goes a long way.
It does.
One
of the things that I can honestly say, and I know that my mom wouldn't mind me say it, because we say it a lot, but my mother never told me she loved me until me and CJ got together. Like, I used to tell my mother my father was very affectionate, but my father passed away when I was 12 years old. So me and my dad used to say, I love you all the time. I slept with my father up until he passed away. I was a daddy's girl. And if it wasn't for my father, I don't think I would be the affectionate person that I am today. And I used to tell my mother I love her, but she would never say it back. But then when me and CJ got together, I don't even know what made my mom start to say it. I really don't. But that's when she started saying it. And CJ, when I started sharing with him some of the things that I went through as a child, he used to be like, huh? But you and your mother so close. And I'd be like, And then when he got to know her and he would hear the conversations between me and her, he then really believed and understood what we went through. But it's important.
It is, very much so. Shout out to the 27 million in the building, y'all. We are speaking on toxic parenting for anybody that's just coming in. And we appreciate you all for being here. Satin also said, I can't stand when a mother uses their child against the father, because they may have not paid child support or just having an issue with them. You should never keep a child from their parent. That's a fact.
Nope.
Especially if they now listen. If the parent ain't shit, then yeah. But if there's a lot of instances and times where the other parent wants to be in the child's life, and the other parent that has the child is using that child as a weapon towards the other parent. You know what I'm saying? Especially if, for example, Sharice got our daughter. We broke up. I'm in my daughter's life. I love my daughter. She loves me. I want to see her. But I got with somebody else. Sharice don't like that. She jealous. So she's going to keep my child away from me because of that. Because she's not over me. You know what I'm saying? That happens a lot. And it's vice versa too. It's men that do it to women too. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of different situations when it comes down to it. The Griffin said, we stress over parenting a lot. It's nothing bad. It just comes with the territory. Parenting twins that are teenagers, completely the opposite of each other, and then a 3-year-old, and it's hectic. You just take it one day at a time, though. I understand that, Griffins. Definitely understand. That's a lot of different personalities.
So, Griffins, I got a question that y'all can answer in the chat at some point. When y'all first made the decision to have children, did y'all have a serious conversation about what would happen if the possibility of y'all separating?
What's going on, Chocolate Drop?
Hey, Chocolate Drop.
All right, y'all. We doing pretty good. Okay. All right, good. Be right back. About to share it out. Okay, thanks, sis.
Thank you.
What up, House of X?
Hey, House of X.
All right, let's move on, y'all. Satin said, my niece won't allow my niece's father to My niece won't allow my niece's father to spend time with her because she doesn't like who he's dating. See, that's what I just said. Yep, y'all own it. Y'all own it. Shea Magic said even taking the favorite kid to Red Lobster and the other ones to make. Yeah, that's insane.
That's crazy.
That is insane, especially if they doing it in their face.
Yeah,
that's insane. Brandy said, "Sad and I feel you, but my situation was dealing with a narcissistic dad, and that was hard. Yeah, I can only imagine. That word right there, that's a scary word."
Very.
Michelle said, "I also know someone that has 6, and she treated the oldest different than the rest because they have different daddies. Oldest have different dad than the other 5, and they bumped heads forever." Oh, okay. Okay, so the other 5 had the same dad, but the oldest had a different dad. That's the first. I never heard that one. Never heard that one. Not with that many kids. You know what I'm saying? Toya said, "I saw a police show where a mom was drunk and told her 11-year-old that she'd unalive her for eating all the
I know you lying.
over some chips, bro. That's insane. Come on, man. Come on. I mean,
It's things like that piss me off because you know what? There's so many people out here who want to have kids. Hey, Tag.
what up, Tag?
Hey, Evolving
Evolving.
Lady.
It's buffing really bad on my episode, but I truly appreciate you. Okay, Evolving. I'm sorry that you're going through the technical difficulties.
There's so many people out here who want to have children and who would love on their children, but can't have kids. And then there's so many people out here who have so many kids back to back to back to back and treat them like shit.
That's a fact.
And it's just, I think it's unfair. It's so unfair.
Yep. Let's see. Lacasia said, "Being a product of sexual abuse, I got it bad. I'm a constant reminder of what happened to her." Yeah. And we're so sorry you had to go through that, Lacasia, because that happens a lot too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Unc said, "A lot of children are mistreated when parents are stressed with everyday life, being a single parent, overworked, bills, etc. A lot of times it's not intentional. The parents need assistance." That's exactly what Sharice just said. That's a great point. That's a great point.
That's a great picture. It fits your channel.
Michelle said, "Right, especially when the parent been abused growing up and never got help."
Yeah.
It's just a buck being passed, pretty much. Unfortunately, a bad buck being passed.
Yeah.
So hold on, y'all. I just want to make sure I get all of these comments. We're doing pretty good so far. All right, so Lacasia said they have to want therapy, especially the ones that think they don't need it. That's true.
Yeah, everybody has to want it in order to get it. You have to want it for yourself.
Yeah, going to therapy, you have to you have to open yourself. And you got to open up, you know what I'm saying, to a stranger. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that's not easy for everybody.
It's not, but honestly, I have to say that sometimes people suppress so much that sometimes it takes an outside person to make you even realize that there's something going on. It's as stupid as it sounds to some people, it's really a true thing. Because sometimes you feel like, you know what? No, I got this. I can hide this well enough. Nope, I don't put it way back. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And it takes somebody else to just have that heart-to-heart conversation with you to really be like, no, I'm not good.
Right. Sad to say, honestly, some people should not be parents. As someone who could never have children, it really bothers me to see the abuse and neglect that goes on. That's a fact. Yep. Y'all, it's like y'all already on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we get into the comments. Y'all on it. Grateful said, "Yes, CJ and Sharice, that apology means so much more than the child could ever." Exactly. That's a fact. My father never admitted his wrongs and how we were raised, but wrong is wrong. Point blank and period. I just wished he would apologize so I could truly move on. Understood.
Understood.
And you can't blame nobody for how they feel.
You can't. You are entitled to your feelings.
You know. Griffin's answered your question. Sharice, we never had that conversation. We didn't have children for a whole 2 years after we were married because we both wanted to be on the same page.
Understood. I asked that. I don't know. It's just something I like to ask people that have children. CJ and I did have that conversation, and the one thing that we both agreed on and stood stern on was that if we did not make it, we promised each other that no matter what, we knew that we both loved our child, and whether we went our separate ways and dated other people, we would not keep our child from each other.
Yep.
And if we couldn't agree on it, we had to stay together until our child was grown.
Right. Griffin's also said, I wanted kids, but Joe didn't want any for a while. And then one day we had the conversation about parenting and making sure we were ready, and we went about it that way. That's great though, that y'all had to talk and that y'all were willing to compromise and meet each other halfway, and you know, it made it work. And now y'all have a beautiful family.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, so Satin said, it's so effed up when you're a mandated reporter and you see what some of these children. I can only imagine. I can only imagine them, and I can only imagine like the people that answer the phone for the 911, people that report child abuse.
Oh yeah.
You know, the child abuse agencies and stuff like that. I can only imagine the stories they hear, the horror stories they hear.
Now that's a job I couldn't do because I would be in jail.
Yep. All right. And Toya said, did y'all see when a mom asked her son's dad to get his child something to eat, but she threw it away because the man ain't buy her other children? Oh, I saw that. That was a while ago. I saw that. Yep. She sure did. Yep. Yeah, I ain't gonna get into all of that, but yeah, exactly the way she put it is what happened. He didn't buy the other kids, that's not his kids, McDonald's, so she got mad. So, I mean, now I know me and my wife, I know we would probably went the other way.
Right.
You know, knowing her, if I was bringing my daughter something to eat and knowing she got her other kids at the house, then I'm bringing food for everybody, you know, but everybody's not entitled to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's a good point, Toy. I remember seeing that. This conversation is so fire. Thank you, Grateful.
Thank you, Grateful.
Thank y'all for being here. CJ, you will never forget the first time or the last time that you had to call in a parent for a physical. Oh, I can only imagine. I don't do the whole physical abuse thing. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Mm-mm.
And we love kids way too much.
Way too much.
You know what I'm saying? So
we have fed the neighborhood. So we don't play around with kids at all. Like if we are about to take our daughter inside to feed our daughter, we will, if there's a child outside, we gonna feed everybody. If our daughter wants something from the ice cream truck, and it's all kids, everybody, all the kids outside getting something from the ice cream truck. If we can't feed all the kids from the ice cream truck, we're gonna tell our daughter, no, you're not getting nothing this time.
You can get something later.
You get something later
when you come in the house.
We don't. We never played that.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Shout out to the 28 million in the building. Let's move on to the next segment, which is a great segment. And this is signs you might have experienced it and don't know it. You know what I'm saying? So fear of making mistakes. So if you're walking around as an adult with the fear of making mistakes, that could be because of past trauma, unfortunately. Hold on, y'all. Sorry. That could be because of past trauma, because if you're walking around as an adult with the fear of making mistakes, that's because you were doing it as a child. You had a fear of making mistakes because you didn't know what the outcome would be when it came to your parents. You know, maybe you making a mistake, you knew you was going to get a whipping, or they were going to verbally slash you for that little mistake that you made or the big mistake, whatever it is. So that's a good one. People pleasing tendencies is a great one too. You know, because you want to feel accepted. You're trying to please everybody because you really didn't have nobody coming up. You know what I'm saying? So now you are going about life trying to please everybody because that's what you did when you was young. You were trying to please your parents, but it wasn't accepted. You know, no matter what you did, it wasn't accepted. You know, they didn't care what you did. You know, so that's another one. Struggling with self-worth. That's a tongue twister for you. Struggling with self-worth. So I mean that's pretty much speaks for itself. You know, struggling with self-worth, not knowing what you're worth as a person, not knowing what you add or bring to the planet as a person, you know, to life as a person, because you didn't know, you never were told that you never were told these things coming up. You never were told by your parents that you mean the world to them, or you bringing something to this earth, or you're going to be something when you grow up, or something, you know, the little things that most kids hear coming up as kids. You know, we've all heard it. You know, not we've all heard it, excuse me. Some of us have heard it coming up. Y'all know what I'm saying. And then feeling like love had to be earned. That's crazy. No child should be walking around feeling like they gotta earn and I love you from their parents. You know, that's just that's trauma. You know, that's trauma. And then having to depend on other parents or your friends' parents to get the love that your parents supposed to be showing you. You know what I'm saying? That happens a lot too.
It does. And then can you imagine not getting that from your parents, having to depend on your friends' parents, and then growing up, getting in a relationship, and then to be treated like crap in a relationship and being put down by the person who you think is supposed to love you anyway.
So the real talk statement about this segment: a lot of adults don't realize they're still parenting. A lot of adults don't realize they're still parenting themselves through wounds that they went through. So you're trying to parent a human, and you're not fully healed yourself. You know what I'm saying? So great points. Great points. Let's get to some more comments about this segment. Shout outs to the 30 million in the building. We love y'all, man. We appreciate y'all for being here tonight. We knew this one was going to hit, so we appreciate y'all.
Oh, excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry.
Triple D said, I worked for Child Protective Services back in the day, and the most people abusing the kids were the grandparents. What?
Wow.
Yeah, see, now that's a new one. Because usually the grandparents is where we ran to. Because, the parents wasn't shit. You know, that's crazy. That's wow.
I would have never thought that.
Nope, not at all. You taught us something today, Triple D. Some people are too proud to ask for help. On the other end of the spectrum, some people don't ask for help because of the talking behind someone. Yes, syndrome. After they ask and receive help. That's a fact. People broadcasting people's business.
That's one thing that I absolutely hate.
Yes,
I will never, if excuse me, if I help somebody, the only person that I'm going to tell is this man right here.
Yep.
Baby, such and such need help, and this is what we're gonna do.
That's
and we're gonna sit and we're gonna discuss it. It ain't none of nobody else's motherfucking business. I can't stand when somebody go and discuss what somebody else needed.
Yep. That's a good point. So I said a lot of parents have a fear of abusing their children, like they've been abused also. Yes, yeah. I mean, because you live and you learn. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, I wasn't abused coming up, so excuse me. I wasn't abused coming up, but if I was abused coming up, or somebody is being abused coming up, I'm going through this hell. I would never put my kids through what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to definitely raise my kids differently than the way I was raised.
Yeah.
But then, unfortunately, sometimes it follows that person into parenthood. Unfortunately.
And that's what I don't understand. Like, if you know how you felt and what you've been through, why would you want to put your child or anybody else through that? I've never understood that.
Yep. It happens all the time, y'all. Wait till I get to these statistics. Hey, Day with Daphne.
Hey, Daphne.
And you came in through the back door. This is why it's so important to make daily affirmations. Yes, it really is. And honestly, I thought it was real dope when our daughter told us that some of her friends watch us. You know what I'm saying? And I just think that's super dope. And I would hope that when they see stuff like this, that it helps in a way, or maybe they know somebody that's going through something. Well, hey, I heard this on one of my friends' parents' show on YouTube. Maybe you could try this or something. You know what I'm saying? So we really don't know. You just never know who's watching.
And you don't. Speaking of which, we are not doctors. We are not counselors.
We're not.
We are just coming together to speak.
That's a fact.
Together as a family.
That's a fact. We are not in the profession of at all. Just understand that. We always got to drop that bug, man, because
we don't want nobody thinking nothing. We are not professionals at all. We are just coming together, having a round table conversation.
We ain't trying to be better than nobody, none of that. The Social Den is about relatable topics, and this is a relatable topic. That's it.
Absolutely. Hey,
what up, plugs? We got plugs for days in the building. Everybody say what up to plugs. All right, y'all, let's keep moving.
You good?
We good.
You on vacation?
Yeah, I'm on. Yeah.
As long as y'all like, we go over a little bit.
I'm on vacation.
All right, I ain't say you had to just brag about it a little bit. I'm just saying you ain't got to.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I can leave and go lay down, and you can continue.
I didn't mean to poke my chest out when I said it. All right, Satin said, my family has a My family has a pact with each other that if my small niece and nephew ever call to spend time with us, that no matter what, we will say yes, because unfortunately they're better with us. I love that. I love that. There's nothing wrong with that. Self-worth is such a difficult thing when it comes to parents. And if you don't feel good about yourself, then unfortunately your children are going to feel that.
And that's very true, because I know there have been times where I just wasn't feeling myself, or, with not at all. And Stink would be like, Mommy, what's wrong? So it is definitely felt. Kids are a lot smarter than what we give them credit for. And when I say that, I'm not meaning in her present 17-year-old self. It's happened in her younger age. So kids are definitely
smart,
smarter.
Man. They are very smart. Look at Michelle.
He on vacation. So that means I can leave and go to bed, and y'all can continue this conversation.
Michelle always got my back. All right, let me see. Did I read that? Yeah. All right, y'all, let's keep moving. Triple D said the G parents here in AZ, Arizona, was having issues, had to take care of the grandkids, and had resentment to the parents. Man, I mean, that's a bomb right there. I never knew about the grandparents part. I've never even heard about that, because the grandparents usually is the ones it's been so many grandparents that raised their kids, because of the parent unfortunate.
You probably got sick of that shit.
Yeah, I don't know. We got to break these generational curses every day. That's a fact.
Yes.
That's a fact. That's a great point, Grateful. Edward said, I thank God that my mother stayed on me. I had a loving and caring mother. That's great. That is great. That's great that you had a loving and caring mother. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of awesome parents out here. We're not taking nothing away. Of course, we're not even talking about them, because they're awesome parents. But I'm just saying, like, there are a lot of toxic parents out here, unfortunately. And then there are some toxic parents that mask it well in public. You know, they acting like the best mom or the best dad in public in front of their friends and colleagues, and then get home and all hell break loose behind closed doors.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's why I say you never know what's going on behind closed doors. Toya said, I raised my ex-children completely different of how I was raised. That's great. That's great. That is great. That's how it's supposed to be done. Like my wife just said, why would you want to put your children through what you went through? They don't deserve that. You know? Bro, CJ, I thought you was a doctor with Unc. Oh, no, I ain't no doctor. I just promote Unc. You know what I'm saying? I'm far from a doctor. Tag said, some parents don't know the toxicity they are exposing their children to from their own unhealed trauma. Sometimes the kids aren't able to recognize until they get older. That's a fact. But believe it or not, it's kids, like my wife just said, that they recognize it now or when they're young, you know? House of X said, Wanston here speaking, my father was the one that was toxic in our household, CJ. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, it's not always the females. It's not always the woman. You know, it's not always the woman at all. You know, it comes from both sides of the parenting. The father side and the mother side. It happens on both sides. Tag for short to be transparent. I believe I experienced that as a teenager and young adult. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Chocolate Drop said, my mom raised us the best she could. We as kids definitely thought she was so mean, but now that we are parents ourselves, I realized she was trying her best. Yeah, I mean, there are some parents that, you know, they may slap once in a while, but you can, a child knows when their parent loves them, you know, but the love overpowers the hate. You know, the love overpowers the hate. Notice where the hate hand is. The love is going to overpower the hate. There is going to be some times where they may snap and you be like, whoa, you okay, Mom? You know, but for the most part, they know they love them. You know, their parents love them. I just read that one. Tag said PBE can be hard to recognize because it's not always intentional behavior from the parents. It's a lack of self-awareness and a lack of inner work from the adults. That's a fact. Inner work. I like that, the way you put that. Inner work. Satin said, I didn't have a father figure until I was 11. My mom did the best that she could. I was lucky to have an amazing father into my life. He was a very quiet but loving man, always treated me like his own. That's dope. That's super dope. That's super dope. Chocolate Drop said, I didn't want my children to be raised in a toxic environment, which is why I chose to leave their dad. Extremely toxic, verbally abusive, and disrespectful to me in front of them. It was hard, of course. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry you went through that. Yeah, absolutely. Just ask, there's nothing to be sorry about. I've worked on my book. I wrote about it in my book. I forgive him and make sure my mom's good. That's super dope.
That book was amazing.
Shout outs to Wanston. Thank you, Ross 20. We appreciate you.
Welcome in.
And welcome in. Happy Heavenly B-Day, Dad. March 17th. Oh, happy birthday to your dad.
Heavenly birthday.
Yep, happy birthday to Satin's dad. Belated birthday. Because I wanted them raised by both of their biological parents, but it didn't happen that way. And now I see why. Everything happens for a reason, sis.
Yep.
Everything happens for a reason. What up, Prince?
Hey, Prince.
Yep. All right, y'all. You who? All right, y'all. So let's move on to the next segment, which is called The Cycle. Hurt people raise hurt people. You know, we kind of touched on this a little bit. Somebody said it in the chat. Hey, sneaking in to see what we're talking about. We're talking about toxic parenting, sis. That's my brother's birthday too. Oh, that's super dope. Thank you for posting that. My dad, CJ. Of course, Satin. Hold on. Oh, let me read this. I'm old enough to remember when they gave parenting classes to expecting parents. They need to bring. Oh yeah, I remember that, Daphne.
They did what?
They gave parenting classes to expecting parents.
Really?
Yeah, I remember. I mean, I was young, but I remember hearing that when I was, coming up, that they did have parents in classes. You're right. Coop loves them because he loves me, and they are happy and growing up in love. That's super dope. I love that for you and Coop and the kids. All right, y'all. So the cycle: hurt people raise hurt people. Many toxic parents were raised the same way. That's true. That is true. The big picture is them saying the same way. Now everybody went through different things, of course, but toxic parenting is toxic parenting. That's pretty much what they're saying. So many toxic parents were raised the same way. They're toxic parents, and they were raised in a toxic household. So it just followed them, unfortunately. Trauma gets passed down like a family recipe nobody asks for. Come on, man.
Wow.
Trauma gets passed down like a family recipe that nobody asks for.
Hey, One Crafty Sister. Hey, Scorp. CJ.
That hit me in my spirit.
Fix your shoulder and your lips.
What up, One Crafty Sister and Scorp? Shout out to the 33 million in the building. But it's true, though. All jokes aside. Trauma gets passed down like a family recipe that nobody wants. Nobody want that shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants that. I didn't ask for that. I asked for my parents to love me. You know what I'm saying? So I get that. Right, exactly. I didn't ask for that.
Ain't nobody asked y'all to lay down and do the nasty.
Exactly. About 34% of adults report emotional abuse in childhood. So only 34% reported the emotion. That's just emotional abuse.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Not the physical abuse. That's just emotional abuse. Don't nobody want that recipe to your peach cobbler bit. Welcome back, Brandy.
Welcome back, sis.
A lot don't even know they're traumatized. It's like normal. Yeah, it's true. That
so
is true. Chocolate Drop said that's absolutely true. I remember having conversations with my mom about how hard it was being raised by my grandmother who had 10 children with no man. Good Lord.
And that's another thing. Like back in the day, our grandparents used to have all them 10, 12, 13, 14 kids.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. That part, Cherise. Latrice said, I'm so grateful that I was the baby of each. So I saw a lot of toxicity, and I vowed that I would never raise my child to see such. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm proud of myself being able to say toxicity so easily. I thought I was gonna mess it up. I didn't grow with my parents saying I love you all the time, so that lingered to my kids. Not good for one of them. Yeah. Yep. That's true. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good. That's the bottom line. It's not good. And if you're one of the people that were fortunate enough to accept that and be able to fix it early. You know what I'm saying? Instead of them growing into adults with growing resentment. You know what I'm saying? Because resentment grows with the person. You know what I'm saying? So emotional trauma is like a dish no one wants now. That's a fact. That's a fact. It molds. You know, it molds. It grows things. Oops. Brandy, because my mom was the same. I do not get off the phone or send a text without telling the person that I love them. And what we always tell y'all, man, at the end of every video and every show, y'all know what I'm saying. Come on, man. It's the truth, though.
Yep. And we say it to each other 1,000 times a day.
Look at this fool. Toxicity, bitch, with your dumb ass. All right, let me start these. But I want to get into these statistics real quick, and then we get back to y'all comments.
Yeah, tomorrow is not promised.
It sure ain't. All right, y'all. So let me read these impactful statistics real quick. So over 550,000 children in the U.S., 550,000 children in the U.S., not around, that's just in the U.S., are confirmed victims of abuse abuse/neglect yearly. Yearly. Let that sink in. 550,000 in the US yearly are victims of abuse or neglect. Excuse me. 55% of high school students reported emotional abuse from a parent during the pandemic. Now, let's touch on that a little bit. Sorry, baby.
No, so
Yo, you can
sorry.
go ahead. Let me touch on that a little bit. So, the pandemic, y'all, everybody remember C-19? Everybody was stuck in their house. Do you know how many kids hate COVID for that alone? Because they had to be stuck in the house with their parents? We all hated COVID for our own reasons. But just imagine how many kids went through hell because they were stuck in the house with. Just think about when kids go on summer vacation or holiday vacations, or when school closed and they don't want their kids home. Just think about that. You know what I'm saying? So I can only imagine what some kids went through with COVID alone, not wanting to be in the house with their kid. I mean, with their parents, because they know it's gonna be some bullshit. This nigga on vacation. What'd he say? It's, I don't have to work, Kurt. I'm using my PTO, Joe. Shout outs to my family, man. I love them, man. Hold on, y'all. We coming right back to y'all comments. We ain't missing them. Let me get through these last two stats. So around 63% of parents admit to verbal aggression, like yelling or insults. So 63% of parents actually admitted to verbally abusing their kids with like yelling and insults. And last but not least, roughly 14 to 18% of people experience emotional neglect growing up. These, I mean, now 14 to 18% don't sound like a big number, but that's a big number. That's a big number for the population. You know what I'm saying? So it's common, man. It's very common. It's very common. I just wanted to give y'all an idea of, you know, the numbers. But yeah, let's get back to the chat and the comments. Shout outs to the 30 million in the building. We appreciate y'all. If anybody just coming in, we are discussing toxic parenting. Toxic parenting. Excuse me. All right. Chocolate Drop said, I make sure I tell my kids I love them multiple times a day and also showing them. That's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fact. I'm always kissing on my daughter. So, and same with my wife. So, we are a product of our environment. A child observes the behaviors of everyone around them while he or she is growing up. Yes.
Absolutely.
That's right. And unfortunately, nowadays, social media has a bad effect on a lot of kids too.
Yes.
Because they turn to social media because they can't go to their parents. So they're learning from social media. And that can be a very bad thing. Very toxic thing. Brandy said, my parents was married for 50 years, even though they never made me feel unloved, but me not doing it with my kids make them feel unloved in a way. Understood. That's understood. But it's good that you recognizing these things, Brandy. So you got to give yourself a pat on the back for that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't recognize it and it just continues on, unfortunately. Like I told y'all, we've shared with y'all, I wasn't the best father coming up. I mean, to my daughter coming up, to her coming up, you know. And of course we're in a great place now, of course, but you know, I had to recognize that, you know, fix that shit, you know, and it's good that you recognize. That's all I'm saying. You need to make sure you give yourself credit for that.
Absolutely.
Yes, tomorrow's not promised. Absolutely. Lacasia said, by not getting told I love you when I think I overdo it with my, yeah. It's never, you can never overdo love. Ain't no such thing. You know, there ain't no such thing. There's not honestly, there's not enough love in the world. You know what I'm saying? So, and we all know that. Brandy said, and I know it's weird, but it feels weird to even tell my kids I love them, even though I know I do. and they know I did. No, I mean, listen, like we just said, everybody deals with what they're going through differently.
Mhm.
You know, you have your own thoughts, and if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. And everybody in here know the social den is a no judgment zone. So nobody is going to think you're weird, or it's weird. I'm sorry, not you're weird. It's weird. With your thoughts are not weird. That's what I'm trying to say. Michelle said, funny story. Me and my siblings didn't grow up with our parents saying I love you. So I was out of town and my brother called me and just said, I just called to say I love you. And I asked him, was he okay? Yeah, I understand that. I understand that because you're just not used to it. I get that.
I did that to all of our cousins.
For real?
I just sent everybody a text message, was like, morning cousin. I'm just like calling to say I love you. And everybody texted back and was like, you all right? What happened? What's going on? And I was like, I'm fine. I love y'all. What?
I mean, it's just crazy. Like, you know, people, you say, calling to say, just tell somebody you love them or text somebody. And instead of them saying, I love you too. Simple, I love you too. Is you all right? What's wrong? The same thing in Metro's with take all of that. And yes, it ain't really nice. And milk and okay. All right, let's keep going. Feelings of neglect. I'm sorry, Chop and Drop said feelings of neglect and abandonment filled you into adulthood, which affects every single relationship in your life. That's a fact because it sticks to you. It's a part of you until you able to deal with it. You know, especially if you don't deal with it. Since I was told I love when I was younger, I think I overdo it to my son. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think there's no such thing as overdoing love, especially to your kids these days. Ever. But these days, with the way the world is, ain't no such thing as overdoing it. And that's not just with your kids, that's everybody. COVID was stressful enough about being a parent with your own kids in your household 24/7. I can't imagine the kind of abuse that one. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. Because kids were stuck at home. You know, it was a lot of virtual schooling. And then that's when a lot of the parents, you know, that's where the working from home, a lot of the working from home started in the pandemic.
Parents were stressed from working from home. Then they had the kids
Yeah.
doing virtual school. Then they had to help with the schoolwork
Yep.
and the homework.
Yep. It's a lot, man. I can only imagine. Grateful said, at the end of the day, Brandy, that's all that truly matters at the end of the day, fam. Facts. Lacasia, you can never overdo it. He will always remember that. That's a fact. That's a great point. He's gonna remember that. He's gonna remember all that love. My mama loved me when I was coming up. That's what he's gonna be saying when he get older. I honestly don't see any parent not raising their voice at their child at least once in their life. Oh yeah, you raise your voice. You know, that's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? But I just look at it like making sure that the yelling has a purpose behind it. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like, and it's not constant. It's not a consistent thing. You know, if the message behind it is a positive message, and it's not consistent, then there's nothing wrong with that. We all going to yell as parents. Toya said, I'm happy that during C-19 there was free meals available for children because so many babies here only ate at school, but oh man, I know that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
That breaks my heart because I've known kids like that when I was coming up that got excited. Only reason they were excited about going to school, the only reason they were excited to go to school was because of lunch and breakfast, because they're not eating at home. And that breaks my heart to even think about that. My mom is crazy as hell. All she had to do was yell at us. Most times it never turned physical because we would run from her. Yeah, my mother was crazy. But she loved me though. She loved the hell out of me. She'd throw a VCR at me. But she loved me though.
You deserved it.
Just asking for a friend said they did the same thing in Memphis with the food for the kids. Yeah, I mean, I love anything community, any kind of community work. I love it. Not only the kids were toxic during the pandemic, the parents arguing and taking it out on the kids. The kids' only safe space was school. That's a fact. That's a fact. But when school wasn't in the picture during C-19, they felt like they were in prison probably because they had nowhere to escape. You know.
And now so much is happening in the schools. I feel like kids don't have a safe place anymore at all.
Yeah, they really don't. And they turn to all the wrong things and wrong people. You know? Yes, CJ, recognize it and sticking to it. It's just awesome. Yes, it is. It really is. They had meals pickups at the school. That's you hear about that a lot. That's a great thing. It's needed. It's definitely needed.
It is.
That's so sad that we say I love you to someone and they think we're aspiring or sick. Yeah, that's true. That's true because it's not said enough. That's why.
Right.
Grateful said, absolutely not, Brandy. We love you for your transparency. It's so much appreciated, fam. I just wish my father was more like you for real. That's right, Brandy. It's no such thing as anything being weird or none of that.
Nope.
These are your thoughts.
But you know what, Grateful? One day, sis, you're going to have to pray and you might just have to let go for you. Let go wanting that apology, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Prince Daniel said, I must admit, my mom and father got together. Things weren't always as it seems. They didn't always get along like most parents did. My dad was very toxic towards her. She still loved him. Yeah, love. Yeah, I mean, my mom went through the same thing. You know, my mom went through the same thing, unfortunately. As parents, we're going to raise our voice, especially if they are continuously doing things wrong when they know better. Yelling for no reason isn't necessary. Exactly. That's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah.
As long as the yelling has a purpose behind it. Usually we yell as parents because there's a reason we're yelling. You know what I'm saying? My wife and I don't really yell it outdoor at all, but if one of us raise our voice, it's for a reason. You know, so and as long as the kids know that too. Oh yeah, I fucked up if they yelling at me. You know what I'm saying?
And another thing parents need to never mind, I forgot. If I remember, I'll say it, but I forgot.
CJ, a full-blooded French mom is a whole different kind of crazy. I can only imagine. I can only imagine. CJ Sharice, so thank God for JTPA. It saves us in a big way as kids. Those jobs were real blessings. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing you're talking about like the intro programs, pretty much. You know, us stepping out as adults, getting a taste of the workforce in the real world. Definitely helped me. I started working when I was 14. You know, so I've been working for a long time. My dad is 76. His generation was just kind of raised to work and provide. He has a hard time expressing I love you verbally. His mom was toxic to them, but loving to us grandkids. Oh yeah, okay, I understand that. That happens a lot too. Chocolate Drop said, when I became a mother, I promised myself to not put them through things that made me feel less of a person when I was young. Sometimes it can backfire though. They try to take advantage of it. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a big fact. Triple D said, I've always told my kids I love them. This way, can't nobody dusty ass child try and manipulate them. Good point, Triple D.
That's the mindset that I always try to keep. Always tell Stink that I loved her because I never wanted her to want that from somebody else. And then I just always try to normalize if I was wrong, apologizing because I never wanted her to want an apology from me because I know what that was like, which is why I just said what I said to you, sis Grateful. I wanted for so long to get an apology from my mom. And it wasn't until I got into therapy where my therapist was like, you know, you're holding on to wanting this apology for these things you know, you may just have to let it go for yourself. And I had to let go. So I just took like things that I went through and feelings that I had, and that's how I learned, you know, my style of parenting.
Thank you, Edward. Thank you so much. 21, you know, that's right. 31 million in the building. All right, y'all. So I saw now one more little piece, which we've all heard this coming up. Maybe it was from a friend. Maybe you said it. You know, maybe you just heard somebody out in public saying it, but it's a good point to bring up. When people say, I got whippings and I turned out fine. So you hear parents say that to their kids, I got whippings and I turned out just fine. So I'm gonna whip your ass too. You know what I'm saying? I think that could be a source of, how can I put, like a weapon in a way. You know, I got whippings, so you getting whippings, and I turned out great. So I want you to turn out great, so you gonna get whippings too.
Did you turn out great?
Yeah, exactly. So how great did you turn out, actually? You know, so that's just a good point to bring up. Verbal aggression is linked to delinquency. Verbal aggression is linked to delinquency, aggression, and relationship problems in kids. Verbal aggression is linked to delinquency, aggression, and relationship problems in kids. I think verbal aggression, some of us as men, I think we the ones that deal with that the most, or we the ones that exude that the most. I think I used the right word, you know, because we already have, my wife had to tell me this when my daughter was younger. You know, we already have we already have power in our voices because it's so deep and we're men and all of that. So I think that's a great point too. You know, verbal aggression is definitely a common thing in households. You know, especially if the aggression is coming from something that had nothing to do with the child. You know, you just taking it out on them because you had a bad day at work, or somebody pissed you off on the way home, on your drive home from work to home, or whatever. You know, they didn't have your drink at the liquor store, or they didn't have what you was looking for at the grocery store, or whatever.
Just your regular response. Like even now when it's nothing, sometimes I'll tell CJ like, well, why is your response like that? Like, why are you talking so aggressive? It's, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's just the way it is, I guess. Thank you, Chocolate Drop.
Thank you so much, Chocolate Drop. Shout out to our amazing host, CJ and Sweet Cherise, for always bringing us together every week. Y'all are so dope, passing the offering, please. Thank you so much, Chocolate Drop. We appreciate that. Always appreciate the love, man. And this is what it's about, man. Like we told y'all, we wanted like a sense of a round table in a way. You know what I'm saying? And conversations like this, that's the feel that you get, a round table. Everybody sitting around the table having a conversation, a dope conversation. Yeah. All right, so let me get to these comments. I start some more, and then we're going to talk about healing and breaking the cycle. You know, what can a person do? What can a person or a child or whatever, anybody, what can you do to heal and break the cycle?
Can I make my tea?
Of course. So let's get to these comments. Ms. Nisi said, I was a very toxic parent and working very hard not to be toxic grandparent while I was raising my grand. Again, acceptance is the first step. At least you accepting it and you're admitting it. And from what I see, you're a great grandmother now. So
it is.
Grateful Heart says, so very true, Cherise. I so know my daddy. Just give it to God. He will work this pain out. Yes, indeed. Tag for Short said, Miss Nisi, is great that you can recognize that you are trying to do better for her. Exactly. Yep. Y'all taking the words right out of our mouths, y'all. Prince said, yes, I have heard that before. Miss Nisi, but changing it so means a lot. You recognize it. That's awesome. That's facts. I've definitely heard people, Toya said, I definitely heard people say that And those words come from toxic humans. That's a fact. I've heard it a lot. I heard that saying a lot. I got whipping, and I turned out great. So whippings were like meals. I was well fed. I know that's right. But I'm sure your whippings came from a great place, though. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Satin. I love this amazing family. Thank you for what you do. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Without y'all, we ain't nobody. You know what I'm saying? So we do this for y'all, and we appreciate all of y'all. So let's get to healing and breaking the cycle, which I think is, it's a great way to kind of wind down a little bit. So like what we were just talking about, self-awareness is a big one. You're self-aware of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Being able to recognize the problem and tackle it head on is a great first step, I should say. You know what I'm saying? Being able to admit, yes, I have some things I need to work on because my child doesn't deserve this. You know what I'm saying? So self-awareness and therapy. Therapy is not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? I understand a lot of people don't really dig the fact of, or the idea of talking to a stranger about their problems. And because we all go through different things, and there are things that we don't like sharing, we keep bottled up. But I've heard great stories about therapy, and therapy can go a long way. You know what I'm saying? So therapy and self-awareness would be number one. Number two would be learning new parenting styles, and you can't really alter your parenting styles until you recognize the styles that you want to edit. You know what I'm saying? So having a conversation with that child is probably a great step too. How do you feel about my parenting? What things do you think I should change as a parent? You know what I'm saying? So apologizing to your kids. That's a big one. Being able to apologize to them. I'm sorry for the way I treated you. I'm sorry for this. I'm sorry for that. And I'm going to do better. I promise I'm going to do better. You know what I'm saying? So, and like we said earlier in the show, that sometimes that apology is all they're waiting for. You actually shining a light on the fact that you were wrong and that you want to fix it. And it's like a sigh of relief, like, wow, finally. You know what I'm saying? And giving kids what you didn't get, like we talked about that too. You don't why if you know what you went through as a child, why would you want to put your child through that? You know what I'm saying? So, don't not putting your kids through what you went through as a child is definitely a big step too. So now real quick, I don't want to get into anybody's business, so y'all are more than welcome to share this if y'all want. And I know some of y'all already did, but to the ones that haven't, did your parents apologize to you growing up if you felt like they were being toxic? Did you get that apology that you wanted? You know what I'm saying? Or what's something that you had to unlearn as an adult? Can you love your parents and still acknowledge the damage? Even though you acknowledge the damage that they put you through, can you still love your parents? Can you still look at them and say that you did your best? I understand as an adult that you did your best, because there's still people that's holding resentment towards their parents because of what they put them through as kids. You know what I'm saying? So just a couple of quick little questions. All right, y'all, let's get to some more of these comments, and then we're gonna go ahead and close this thing out. All right. I like the way I did the comments tonight too. It wasn't like, because I hate when we end the show and don't get to all the comments. So I think that's what we're gonna start doing from now on, just having segments, especially the conversation like this, and then you know, we're gonna start, you know, reading the Den Dweller comments throughout the show. I think that'll make things smoother. All right, so Edward said they used to say it's better me to get you than the police. Now I never heard that one. That's a new one. Never heard that one before. I think it starts with a conversation. I always felt like I couldn't talk to my mom, especially as a teen girl. I never wanted my children to feel they couldn't come to me and express their feelings. That's a fact. That is a fact. They should always be able to come to you about anything. Yes, apologize to them. I've had to do that. Yes. You guys rock. Chocolate Drop is sad and I so appreciate it. Yes, they are. You all are appreciated. I need 2 nephews. I always felt more comfortable coming to me for support over their own mother. Oh, your nephews always felt more okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's not uncommon either. Finding comfort and kids finding comfort in other adults in the family other than their parents. Sometimes we as parents just need to shut up and listen to them. That's a fact.
Yes, amen.
That's a fact. I never received support with school, but I was chastised saying I did too much with my children's schooling. I mean, you know, people are always gonna have something to say. Always. You're right, little bro. The ish I went through made me become more protective of them and can't go to just anybody's house and ish. Oh yeah, we ain't play that. And I like them and my daughter didn't even go. My daughter didn't go to school or anything until she was able to talk. And I made sure that I told my wife, I do not want her anywhere until she's able to talk and tell us what happened that day.
I was a stay-at-home mom until then.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I can go back to those
Yeah.
days.
Oh wait, hold on. Well, I guess CJ, I so love my father and show him every day that I love him because I'm not him. And regardless, he's my only parent left. And I so can't dwell in that grief anymore. That's a great point, Grateful. That's a great point. But some of us wish we had one of our parents still here, like myself. I apologize to my parents because I was a very rebellious child. Understood. And that's another thing. You see, now that's coming from a whole nother spectrum. You know what I'm saying? We talk about toxic parenting, but there's also such thing as being a toxic child too, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? And there are parents out here raising their children the right way. And unfortunately, the kids are blending in with the wrong crowds and stuff like that and being toxic towards their parents that don't deserve it. So it comes from both sides. Said every time my nephews come over to my house, I would put condoms in their pockets. My sister got mad at me for it, but not one of them had a child until they were married. That's a great, yeah, and that's good. That's good. That's good that you did that.
Yeah.
You know,
I made my cousins watch what was that show, baby? Remember? Where Babies Come From.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, they are 24, I think, no, 22 and 23, and none of the kids that I watched and made watch that show, none of them have kids to this day. Mm-hmm.
Finally, when I was old enough, I was able to talk to my mom and tell her the things that hurt and followed me through childhood before she passed. By the time she passed, all was forgiven. Time is precious. That's the fact.
Yeah.
So you did it just in time. And rest in peace to your beautiful mama.
Absolutely.
I love everyone, but ain't no communication with my ex-blood family, and I've been so much better since. I also would never expect an apology from damn one of them. And that's good that you good with that. That's all that matters.
You know, I don't wish that for nobody.
Mm-mm.
However, I will say that sometimes that is what brings you peace.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never in a million years imagined having to cut off some of my blood family members. But in doing that, it brought me a whole lot of peace. So I understand. I definitely understand.
Right. All right. Lacasia said, I've forgiven my mom now. I definitely love her, but it took me 15 years away from her to heal and get healthy. Oh, wow. Time heals all. That's what they say. I didn't grow up abused by my parents whatsoever, but my dad needed to heal from his own childhood neglect. He was there for us, but not there, if that makes sense. It's a work in progress. Understood. I definitely know what that means.
Mhm.
That's what I did. My kids didn't want to stay with anyone until they were potty trained and walking. Yeah, I ain't play that. I was very, very serious about that.
Mhm.
I wasn't trying to hear nothing Cherie said or anybody else said. I don't want my child nowhere until she can come home and tell us about what happened. And guess what? Once she started going and she started talking, she would come home and act out everything that went on in school. The teacher teaching her, she would say the same things the teacher said and all of that. So she not only was she telling us what happened, she was acting it out. It
Yeah.
was so dope. Like it was crazy, man. And we have video footage of it, and it's some of the cutest shit you'll ever see. I don't allow myself to hold grudges anymore. In my heart, I have to let it go so that I can continue to be the positive and loving person I know that I can be. That's right. That's right. I mean, um, I think we all I think love is I think in a way love is planted in all of us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some grow and bloom into beautiful flowers, the love I'm talking about. And then some just grow and wilt and wither, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? But it's up to us to, continue to plant that love seed, man. Because it's definitely needed, especially these days that we in.
Mhm.
Triple D said, "Yup, that's why I'm not a grandma. Gave them condoms and movies on that and on where babies come." That's right.
Mhm.
That's right. Sometimes it takes that moody. It takes that moody. Look at what God worked out. That's a fact. Yep. My mother said I had to let it go. I was 21 when I let her go. Yeah. Yep. Oh, my beautiful niece. Leave Stink alone. She has a very hey. It was Triple D. It was super dope. It was super dope.
Mhm. D11.
D11.
She used to say, "Mommy, Daddy, what's this?" D11. Right.
Yep. All right, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and close it out on that note. We hope that y'all enjoyed the show and enjoyed the conversation. And we will be having more conversations like this. And then like we told y'all are so more than welcome to DM us, text us, however, whatever the way y'all get in contact with us, and let us know what y'all would like to hear on the show. Toxic topics. Toxic topics. Lord have mercy. I try to say topics and say toxic. Topics that y'all would like to hear on the show. You know what I'm saying? And we will definitely touch on them. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the 19 million in the building. What's today? Wednesday. Tomorrow night. Make sure y'all tune in to MRTV and Cowboy. They will be live on Family Feud. And then Saturday night for their Jam Fest on TikTok. They said they are doing both this week. So y'all make sure y'all tune in to that. And we will be back next week for another brand new episode of The Social Den. My son just said what did it for him was diaper changing. Oh, okay. Okay. Diaper changing that wasn't hard for me at all.
It wasn't.
I was real good at diaper changing.
He was from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
The first couple of diapers, when that poop looked like tar,
yeah,
I wasn't having it.
Well, that's because also, I had to change my little brother diapers when he was younger too. So I knew all about that. Should you hear from AJ?
Yeah, I talked to AJ this morning.
Hailing hearts.
He's
to
okay.
My family, love you all. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, y'all. So let's get to this prayer and then we're going to get on up out of here. So y'all know what everybody got to do. So everybody bow your heads and let's let our sister Vicky take us out.
Heavenly and gracious Father, we come before you with humble hearts, giving you all the honor, all the glory, and all the praise. Lord God, we thank you for who you are, our Alpha, our Omega, our Sustainer. Father God, we thank you for your servants, CJ and Sharice. We thank you for their obedience, for answering the call you placed on their lives, and for walking boldly in purpose. Continue to bless the work of their hands, Lord God. Cover their platform, their voices, and their vision, and allow everything they do to bring glory back to you. We thank you for every person you have assigned to surround them with love, encouragement, and support. Bless those who follow them, those who uplift them, and those who have gathered here today. May no one leave this space the same way they came. Lord God, we ask that you be healing to the sick, comfort to the brokenhearted, peace to the troubled mind, joy to those who are grieving, and strength to those who are weak. Fill every empty place with your presence, your love, and your grace. We thank you once again for this gathering, Father God, and we trust that every seed planted today will bear good fruit in due season. We are forever grateful for you and all that you continue to do. It is in the mighty, matchless, and precious name of Jesus that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen and amen. And yes, and dear Lord, please watch over the men and women of our military, 11 arms for our brother AJ. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. All right, y'all. We love y'all. Make sure you tell somebody you love them if you haven't already, because tomorrow is not what?
Promise.
All right, man. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your evening. We will see y'all tomorrow night at Auntie and Uncle's Family Feud. And until next time, folks, peace.